So today, what I was thinking, I just have a provocation about augmented reality, which is something my group studies. And the question I have is, are we augmenting ourselves? Are we trying to become super people? And I'm looking back at, in 1968, Ivan Sutherland's head-mounted display. It's a fairly awkward, unergonomic thing, but the basic idea of it was that to try and combine the physical and the digital world, and I wonder what that would look like. So here is a view of what that might look like from a sort of horror vision point of view. If corporations had a way with it, or can you imagine what it might be like if we all could sort of have real-time face recognition? So I'm imagining a pair of glasses that I'm wearing, and I'm sort of seeing people and seeing their social digital self along with the physical one. So parallel tracking and mapping is a project that shows sort of where we're at right now, aligning sort of digital and physical spaces. And I think there's a lot of fun things that have been done in this space. The original vision was to do practical things like fix things from a distance or fix a printer, figure out where the printer cartridge is. But what in practical terms is the experience of doing that really like? Here's an application that sort of begins to explore that, but the iPhone 4 is a bottleneck. It's very difficult to see things through that tiny screen. And the experience is sort of awkward too. You've got the device in one hand and you're doing something else in the other. So I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I find more compelling, which is Myron Kruger's vision from 1985. He called it artificial reality. You can see the body of one person there and the hand of the other sort of interacting. And this is when you take things from the physical world and you mix them with the digital. So here's an art installation from London. I love this. This is Chris O'Shea's work. These are artists that imagine the digital as a transforming mirror, a mirror that you see some aspect of yourself in the world, in the digital world. Here, children hold their bodies up to grow the trees. They can move water from the floor to the trees to cultivate an ecology that changes over time in this room. It's quite beautiful. And I think advertisers are sort of picking up on this. Here's a Google ad where people want to augment some aspect of themselves just by searching the web and then projecting on themselves. So I would describe this as a mixed reality, right? This is not inside my head, but it's out in the world. Another way of thinking of this space is through the flashlight metaphor. I have a character. It's interacting with real things that I draw on the whiteboard. This is sort of powerful now when you can use computer vision to correlate the physical world and the digital one. So our group, we've explored a little bit of this. What happens when our cell phones have projectors? We can project two characters. What happens when they recognize each other? Could they walk with each other? Could they shake hands? Could we play together in the physical world with our little digital characters? Also, could I exchange files with somebody in this room just by using any surface as a projection surface? It seems like these are the kind of things that will emerge from having displays that can be anywhere. So there's been a bunch of projects that explore this idea here in the lab and also at Microsoft Research, where they're looking at how do you use a depth camera to bring an interface onto any object, onto your body, onto a product. How do you get a review of a product while you're looking at it real time? How do you get a review of a book from somebody while you're looking at the book? And we all know that image recognition doesn't really work that well, but it works well for things like books. Another thing that I think is very interesting about combining the physical and the digital world is using color tracking. So here you can see these guys are combining real objects from the world to sort of improvise their own game controllers. I've played with this in my own research because I love puppetry, and I would love to be able to hold up any toy up to my computer and have that control a digital character. So here is just a mock-up that I made where I've got a puppet that's controlling a digital puppet on the screen. So I wanted to end my provocation with talking about showing an exploration where I look at what a real face-to-face interface might be like, embedded in the real world, where the digital world and the physical world are combined into a kind of mixed reality versus an augmented reality that's sort of all inside our heads. Thanks.